back to another week of education, the Teachers Talking Terror podcast, where myself, Mike,
and myself, Courtney,
are here to talk about another horror film. One you brought to the table this time, based
Yes.
on a TikTok,
whatever.
Like,
The
what do you
only
call
place-
recommendation, but just TikTok footage.
Yeah, the only place that I get movie
Fair
recommendations.
Fair enough. So, we're looking at 2023's, like February this year, Monique movie, The Reading, produced by Lee Daniels, written and directed by Courtney Glade, maybe, I don't know. This one you can find on BET Plus, so streaming straight to BET Plus. With that being said, I don't know the subscriber numbers of BET Plus, but it certainly is not your Disney Plus, Netflix level of streaming subscribers. So one that probably doesn't have much of a viewership. And so came out February this year, like I mentioned. On IMDb, it only has like 1,500 ratings, which is pretty low.
Yeah.
And so, but we gave her a shot. We gave this movie a shot. So you brought this one to the table. I watched it the other day. You've watched it more recently than that. So let's ping pong this plot.
Yes.
Cool. Really good opening. I'll let you cover that.
Yeah. So we start off with just this. Emma is our main character mom. She comes home, greeted by her beautiful family in her beautiful house. Like, everything about this is just like the perfect family. Like, they have like a white picket fence, I feel like, in their yard. It's just, comments of like, who's your favorite? Like, my favorite's the one that has the cleanest room. And it's just really sweet, I think, the start of it. Everyone kind of shifts to their own area, and Emma, the mom, is heading to make supper.
Yep.
And we flash to the front yard, where we see these 4 people dressed in all black who have broken into the house, and no one hears it because she's got her Alexa playing so loud.
Yes. It definitely does. We talked a little bit before, and I said I wasn't going to mention it, and I'm not going into a deep dive, but there are definite cultural vibes going on here.
Yes.
In a great way. You're making a movie produced by Lee Daniels that's headed to BET. There's a certain demographic, and there's a certain dynamic and a certain culture that you're gonna lead to. For the same way that the Tyler Perrys resonate with certain audiences more than others, and that's perfectly fine because that's just the way life works. And so, Monique really flourishes in this role. She of this mother with loud music, and she's vibing. She's making her food and just really enjoying that whole moment. But yeah, these 4 figures just come into the house.
Yeah, and it's a very dark, this kind of upset my stomach a little bit because the music's going. You see they go in, they're standing right behind the dad, Matthew, in his office, and they just, almost just spear his head from the top, and he's dead. It flashes to their 5-year-old, Kylan.
Killing kids in movies is usually a big no-no, and showing kids getting killed in movies is even a bigger no-no. And
they showed 2 of them.
Dark. Yeah.
2 of them, because it flashes between the scene of Kylan, the 5-year-old little adorable little boy who's playing in the bathtub, kind of annoys me because no one was supervising him in the bathtub. I'm not even a parent.
Right. Yeah.
And that just gets me. But they're this person is holding him down underwater, and you just see his hands flailing for help. And then they have gotten on top of the teenage daughter, and they're suffocating her, and it just goes back and forth, and it's just it just made my stomach upset. I'm wow, this is at this point I was like, I'm going to love this movie because it has like made me smile, it has made me a little nauseous, and it's made me
Right.
scared all in like the first 5 minutes.
Well, one thing they did really effectively, and like you mentioned, that you made you smile, is in no time at all, we already care about this family.
Yes.
Like a lot of times it takes a little bit of time, yeah, you got your main character but you still have to build a relationship with them. But they did a really great job of, like you said, Monique comes home. We see it's a interracial marriage, which already
Mm-hmm.
is like, okay, good for you,
Yes.
um, and you've got your children and you love them and everybody seems to be happy and getting along, which is honestly really difficult to do with a
Yeah.
teenage girl in the house.
Yeah.
um, and so it's like everybody seems happy and mom's gonna make dinner and dad's doing some work, and it's like, and then within minutes the rugs pull it out from under us.
Yeah.
So it's like we already care about these people and then 75% of them are gone.
Yeah. And it's just like, wow. Like what
Yeah.
just happened? um and so we flash forward to a year later. um
Well, not before Monique gets the just the tar
oh
beat out of her.
yeah. Yes, yes, she, I mean, the life has been beat out of her, and then this person grabs a knife that she's been
Mm-hmm.
cutting veggies with, and just as she puts her hand up on the counter, just chops her pinky off, like just half
Yeah.
of it though, not the whole
Right.
thing. And it's just like the camera flashes down to where she's at, and the lighting's kind of dark because she's down on the ground, but it's like her face, you can tell, is just swollen
Yeah.
and it's
Oh
just
yeah.
beaten.
This is why. Like they so quickly murdered the kids and dad. Like why was she not murdered? There were four of them that could
Yeah.
have murdered, like teamed up to murder her, but they chose not to murder her.
Yeah,
Like
I don't know.
they didn't even attempt really to murder her.
No.
It's not like they stabbed her and she lived. They didn't leave her for
Right.
dead. They beat her up, chopped her pinky off, and then we fast forward.
Yeah. And we fast forward. They couldn't kill her because she had to write a book about it.
No, that you make a very valid point.
And
Like
like
this was a
these,
full length movie. This
right.
couldn't be over in 5 minutes.
Right. So she is this, I mean, very well off author
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Just because you saw this on TikTok doesn't make it a TikTok. It needed to be longer.
Yes. And she's got some issues, like
Yeah,
her her speech is
got a speech impediment. She
yes.
stutters and
Yeah, she's got like a limp. She survived, but I mean, physically, she's still hurt.
right.
It does show us that she's still living in this house, which she's
Yeah,
brave
I even
because,
said to my
nope.
wife when she came home. I even said to my wife, I'm like, yeah, I'd have moved.
Yeah, like, one, that's a huge house. You're a single person now. Two, your entire family was brutally murdered in this house. Like, leave.
Right. How do you
Leave.
go bathe in that bathtub?
No. It,
Like, no, no.
mm-mm.
So already, like now, knowing how we know this movie goes, talking about it now, they're like, there's some, there's some light red flags flying
Yeah.
around here. Now, honestly, I gave myself, and I did. I think I even said to my wife when I said the whole like she should have moved, I would have moved. That it's like, but if the budget wasn't very big, that means they would have had to have another location. Like I'm trying to justify it business wise in my head of
Yeah.
like, oh, like they've already paid to use this giant house. They're not going to have her move to a smaller house because it's like, well, but again, plot wise, like, there's maybe some flags.
Yes. So we switch scenes, and we're kind of in a different location now,
Yeah.
and we come to Sky and her group of friends, and I don't remember
Mhm.
what all of their names are, but Sky is this like medium
Yeah, the
person.
only two that really matter are like Sky and Greg
Yeah. And they
and
they
Rachel.
meet with people,
Yeah.
and talk to them like through those who have passed on,
Yeah.
and they're kind of
There's
scam artists as
yeah,
well.
there's four of them. There's four of them. And there's Sky, who's like you said, the medium. Greg is her boyfriend, but also like the scheduler slash manager. You've got Rachel, who is a nurse that basically is there to make sure that Sky stays healthy. Because really, the only thing Sky does, she'll start her thing and then she'll roll her eyes back in her head.
Yes.
Um, and then you've got like the token white guy of the group that's just the cameraman. Like
Yeah.
he's in charge of the social media, I'm guessing. But yeah, you're right. Like they're basically scam artists.
Yeah, because like they get a little bit of money to do it, but then it's like, wait, you're like this one, just so example, they were meeting with this guy and it's like your mom says she wants you to wire money from your trust fund to
Right.
this place. And it's
Yeah.
like obvious, and then it's like mom said don't ask questions either, and then
Yeah.
the door
I know. It was
closed.
like, oh my God. Like you see the psychic shows on TV,
Yeah.
and I, first of all, I don't believe in any of that
No,
personally.
I don't either.
Um, and if you do, fine. I just don't. But they don't even seem to be as obvious as Sky and her group are.
Yeah.
Sky's, they're like, oh, like you said, send money to us. Don't question it though. Just do it. And the guy's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I will, because my mom
Yeah.
said to.
And it's like when she says that, like, your mom wants you to wire money, like, Rachel, she's just like smiling, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
good
It's like they do
one.
anything to even try to hide it. It's so
Yeah.
so obvious. Sky, she lives with her mom, and Sky, and again, it may just be like a difference in background buildup, but it's like with Sky and her friends, she doesn't seem like she's a good person, right?
Right.
But at the same time, she's trying to make money to help pay the bills at home to help out her mom.
Yeah. Her mom is kind of, I mean, her mom's just like a low life,
Yeah,
burnout kind of.
I think I got the vibe that her mom basically prostitutes herself out to pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they never say it outside of I've got someone coming over later,
Yeah.
and then you hear something upstairs later, and then Sky puts her headphones on, so you get the vibe that mom's probably making money in the old fashioned way,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which okay, I mean, whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Sky's a very, I mean, the actress that plays Sky is a very pretty girl,
Yes.
uh, and mom not so much. Like
No. Sky reminds me of like that high school girl who's smart. She's got everything except the family.
yeah,
And
oh
so
yeah,
therefore she's got to just like find someone who's going to help pass time, and
right,
this group of friends is
right.
what got the niche
I,
for her.
I think that's well said because I do really think Sky's a good person.
Yes.
She's just, and that's I was saying background thing of like you hear about the like the old tale of is stealing a loaf of bread to feed my family wrong kind of thing, and that's how I kind of feel with Sky. Like
Yeah.
you're in on a scam. You're consistently doing this scam. You're scamming people. So are you a bad person that can do good things, or are you a good person that's doing bad things?
Exactly.
Because they're not the same thing.
No. And so Greg has met up with Ashley, who is Emma's sister-in-law, and they're going to, for a very hefty little settlement, they're going
Right.
to do a reading with Emma. And
Right.
Sky's confided in Greg that she doesn't feel comfortable. Like the last one just about touched her. Like
Right.
she's ready to be done with this. But he's like, it's $20,000. Like we will each get 5K,
Yeah.
and she, I mean, not
Which
necessarily agrees, but
I okay, that's really poor business.
yeah,
Like like we're gonna split it right down the middle, huh?
Yeah,
All four
like
of us get talked out of
Sky is doing all of the work here.
all of the work. I
The
would
next
argue that the
guy,
Sky and the cameraman
I was
are the
just gonna
ones
say, the
doing more
next
work.
guy is the camera guy who's doing
Yeah,
most of the work, and then
Greg just
Greg,
stands there.
and Rachel's just there for emotional support. So
I
like,
think Rachel's just there to make it look like Sky's vulnerable.
yeah,
Because she, again, like, she's dressed like a nurse, she's wearing scrubs. I
yeah,
really think she's there like, this is physically tolling on her. I need to make
mm-hmm,
sure that she's safe. But
yeah.
in reality, like, she doesn't do anything.
No,
But
no.
Greg's like,
She
oh,
maybe put some ice on her.
yeah, we're all gonna walk away with 5K. If I were Sky, I'd be like, we need to renegotiate this
Yeah, like
because no.
I'll get 10.
Yeah, and you guys could split the other 10
Yeah,
because I'm doing all of this.
yeah. And so it just kind of, this is where the movie turned for me.
Yeah.
Um, because up until here, like even the scamming, like whatever, but up until here, I did enjoy this movie.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
did.
because like it was dark, and like I said, like it just got me in all my emotions. But now it's like they're into this house of Emma's house. You're definitely getting some vibes here of like it's very uncomfortable in here.
Yeah.
They're all just extremely like, ooh, I don't know. Um, they do a little tour, just some of the basic things, and they sit down to talk. Well, Sky gets like possessed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
See,
I don't know, and I've never been to someone who does this stuff. Like, do they take on the voice of someone else? Do they?
in the
I don't
movies they
know,
do.
because it's like, yeah, like she's talking, like she's repeating conversations and secret things that have been said,
Yeah, see,
that only Emma knows about.
I agree. This is where the movie really, again, I wholeheartedly agree 100%.
Yeah.
There was so much potential because we had Emma's storyline, which we believe, and we had
Yes.
Sky's thing, which we believe. And so, really, I think our imaginations. I had a phone call with Curtis's too. Got to edit that out. I think our imaginations really took the whole like, what's going to happen when these converge?
Yes.
So like we like painted our own picture of like, uh-oh, like Emma's got real dead people in her past, and Sky appears to be a scam.
Yeah.
Like how are they gonna mesh? And then, like you said, they get together, and then now Sky suddenly can talk to the dead. Like,
Yeah.
then why are you scamming? If
Exactly.
you can accurately do this, then do it and really make
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah, because I mean, like she's talking like the little boy, and and Emma's just like, how does she know this? Like, what are you
Right.
doing? And she gets up. Sky has this like, I don't want to say like convulsion, but like she just like seizes kind of, and just all of this stuff. Well, Emma gets up, s- shuts shuts the house down basically, like
Yeah.
locks everything, and everyone's like, she's crazy, like she's locking us in. And Ashley, I mean, she's got the benefit. She's like, no, she's not. She's
Right. Yeah.
not.
Right.
And Emma sits back down and she's like, Sky, tell your friends why they can't leave.
Yeah.
And this
It's
is
like
just like,
complete. Yeah. With no, she's not
yeah,
limping anymore, and she's not
no,
stuttering anymore. Like this is the Emma that got up and the Emma that sat down are completely different people.
yeah, yeah, like, and Sky's just like, she killed her family.
Hmm.
And this was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, where is this going?
Right. Like what kind of reveal is this? Like it was
Yeah,
conversational.
yeah,
Like
but
this is supposed to be the huge twist, and it was just
yeah,
talking.
yeah, like this, the plot twist was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I was like, where's this going? Like how are they gonna play this out now?
Right.
But it was just, I don't know, I guess what you would expect, because then it's just like, Emma went psycho.
Yeah, and it really was a twist. Up until
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
I did not, because of
no,
how much effort they put into that opening scene of actually showing four people come into the house and kill everybody
hmm
off. Why
hmm
wouldn't we believe that?
right.
We
And you
watched
know,
it happen.
at one point, I maybe thought that like these four people were those four people, like
Yeah, that's fair.
like when they're, like they're scamming people, they go in maybe later and like kill them, something like that. The way that she knew everything, I thought was gonna be like and after she shot Greg, after Emma shot Greg, I was like, oh, they killed her family. She knows that. And
Yeah,
that's
that
why
again,
she's locked them in there.
that would have been a cool story. Maybe Sky wasn't part of that group. Maybe those three and someone else did it, and Sky
Hmm.
didn't know about it, but now she's suckered
Yeah.
in. Because Emma's story was that her husband was a diamond salesman,
Hmm.
and that these four people broke into the house looking for diamonds and ended up killing the family.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that story I guess holds water. Like, I don't know the husband outside of what you've shown us, but
Yeah.
sure. And then they're like, all that stuff that we've already shown you footage of, yeah, we're just kidding. None of that's real.
Yeah.
It's like it
Um,
really was. It was an unseen twist because you literally painted us a picture of the exact opposite.
yeah. And like the perfect family was not perfect and just all of that. So it's like a huge, just like a very long cat and mouse chase from here.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it's almost just
within
like,
within the same house.
yeah. I
Like, the
mean,
house was
how
big, but it wasn't
many,
that big.
right. And it's like, I don't even, not that it's gonna waste time, but it's just like all the details that go into it. Like, she shoots Greg, she shoots Ashley, who the sister-in-law, and she's like, "Say hi to my family for me."
Yeah, she's like just straight like point
Yeah,
blank pops her.
yeah, kisses her on the forehead, and then just bye.
Yeah,
Um, the camera guy, she shoots him, and then
yeah,
she's like, "You know what? I'm not gonna shoot you. You don't deserve to die like that." Just beats his head in with a hammer.
right. Yeah, we've
Um,
got Rachel hiding in a closet. The cameraman was
right?
pretty admirable. Like,
Yeah,
we got to, like he was trying to
yeah,
save her. Emma was what, 5 steps out of frame before Rachel crawls out of that crawl space. Like, come
right.
on. And
And it's
what
just
kind of
yeah.
what kind of bullet did she shoot Greg with? Because it had no effect on him at all.
No, none,
Like, she
none.
shot him in the chest. Now, granted, she did shoot him on the right side of the chest, but she shot him in the chest, and then he basically proceeded to play the rest of the movie with just a blood stain because
Yeah,
he was fine. He was
yeah.
perfectly fine.
Um, and so at this point, it's Rachel, Greg, and Sky. They are hiding. I mean, dedicated to
Yeah,
getting out. It's a lot of, like I said, just cat and mouse chasing.
yeah. It's
We do
it is.
have the
Tom and
one,
Jerry.
two, Emma's coming for you.
Yeah,
I
an
was like,
extremely
hey,
long song that Monique acts out, dances around the hall. Like, it was
yeah.
very long.
Um, and she's just like rambling on and on. Greg ends up getting shot after he tries attacking her. He hides. She's like, I don't leave that door open. Just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
He's gone. So
Yeah.
it's Rachel and Sky. They're banging on these glass windows. You see the mailman come up. So I'm like, all right,
Yeah. Okay.
what's gonna go
Okay.
with this? Like, they're gonna get out. Something's gonna happen here.
I was okay
Um,
with that.
yes, they're banging on the window. He's got his headphones in. He can't hear.
Yeah, of course he does.
And then, of course, the minute that they look back to check on Emma, he looks up. He goes, "Oh, kids scared about gave me a heart attack." Like,
Right.
And then as he walks away, just so conveniently, they turn back to banging on the window.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Um,
well
yeah.
timed.
Uh, finally, this chase ends, and Sky had kind of like, I don't want to say like messed with her, but she was messing with her a little bit, with that like taunting back and forth, like,
Right.
your little boy just thought he was in trouble. Like, he died loving you.
Yeah.
And that was like, it looked like for a minute Emma was going to be an actual human.
Yeah.
Because it looked like she was like, oh man, yeah, what did I do? But no, she gets Rachel and just stabs away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a lot of stabbing on Rachel.
And the camera just like, I felt like the camera just kept going back to Rachel. Like, even later when Sky and Emma are fighting, like, we just pan back to Rachel. And it's like,
cameraman,
why?
cameraman got confused.
Like, why are we just looking at Rachel's, I mean, dead body? But
Right.
whatever. The end, Emma explains that, like, yeah, they had some major money issues and she had to kill her husband. He sucked everything from her. And then she had to kill her kids because she didn't even want those kids. So she wasn't going to be a
Yeah.
single mom.
Yeah. I
And
only had kids because he wanted them.
yeah. Um, and then it's like she goes to shoot or to stab Sky, and Sky had just so happened to find a bullet that Emma dropped and
Yeah.
puts it in the revolver, shoots her right through the cheek. And
Yep.
I mean, it ended with, and how did you survive?
Yeah.
And
It
that was that.
back to the like the daytime talk show
Yeah,
couch that Emma was on earlier.
yeah,
Now we have Sky on the same
Sky.
couch as she looks up. We actually, it was kind of weird. We hear the conversation before we cut to the couch. Like,
Right.
how did you get out of the house? And we're like, what? And then we cut to the couch, and then Sky kind of devilishly looks at the camera. I don't know. I don't even remember what she said, but it was almost like,
Yeah,
oh,
I don't
like
either.
almost like what Emma just did on that couch of telling a story that wasn't the truth. Now we're
Yeah,
almost led to believe that
yeah,
Sky just did the same thing.
yeah. And that is the reading.
That's
I
the
mean,
reading.
the first bit I really, like I said,
Mhm.
really had it going.
Until our two
But
character lines merged, it was fine.
yeah, yeah,
It really was. And it left a lot of potential. But the unfortunate part is, once they got together, they did nothing with that potential.
no,
You've got Emma with a dead family, and you've got Sky who can talk to the dead, and we're like, oh, this is going to be kind of supernatural. This
yeah,
is going to be kind of a psychic horror. And then it was like, you spent the whole rest of the movie like, okay, like,
like
even if they
what?
would have had like, even if they would, knowing that they're in the same house, even if like the like Sky's dead fam or not Sky, Emma's dead family would have still been talking to Sky to help her survive. Something like that would have been okay. But it was almost like, yeah, we don't know what we're gonna do with the psychic plot anymore, so
Yeah,
let's just have this be a killer movie. And it wasn't
yeah.
even like scary killing. Like, I didn't find Emma remotely like terrifying or scary.
No, she
She just
wasn't.
was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, she was. She was just crazy. Like, there was
Yeah.
no, because it's like, even the moments that they could have made scary, like, I feel like when the camera guy, I feel bad, I don't remember his name,
Yeah,
but when the camera guy, when he, like, gets the hammer, I mean, and he
Randy.
is Randy, and, she's like, oh, didn't your mommy teach you not to play in the kitchen? Like, you could get hurt. It's just, I don't know, like, she's just, you can see the crazy in her eyes.
Right.
It's just, yeah, I don't know,
For
but
me, to be honest, a I think a gun is a very lazy choice for a weapon in a horror film
yeah.
because they take no effort.
No, they don't. And, like, you can be 10 feet away from someone and,
Right. Which is why when you see movies where the killing device is a knife, a chainsaw, something that penetrates, something that
yeah,
stabs, something, like those are so much more effective because you have to be in close proximity, and
Yeah.
there has to be some physical force delivered. But most of the kills in this movie were from a gun.
Right.
And it's like, okay, now that's just like a crime movie or a thriller, or it's like it's not horror because it's just a gun. Like one of the reasons why like stabbing and slaying and chainsaw, one of the reasons why those are so scary is because that stuff doesn't happen as often in real life.
Right.
Like when you hear in the news 6 people shot, it sucks, but I'm not afraid of that. But if
No,
you were to
like,
hear, if you were to, even if you heard someone in town was shot and murdered last night, it would suck, but you don't
yes.
feel for you. But if you hear that, especially even if they're like in the killer's still on the loose, because it feels like if there's a gun involved, there's some sort of vendetta,
Yeah.
like, but if you were to hear that like someone in town was mauled by a chainsaw last night and they don't know who did it, I'm a little more on high alert
Yeah.
because
Oh,
that just
yeah.
it just feels more crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's something amiss, and this was just Emma's got a gun, so we're gonna shoot, and it's just I don't know, it just doesn't scare me.
Right.
It doesn't
Like
scare me.
it's just it's yeah, it takes a lot more effort to kill someone like you've said, like with anything else but a gun.
Right, which is why like Jason and Michael Myers are so much more effective as a horror figure because everything they do requires some sort of penetration tool.
Yes. And I think that to me, like Rachel's death was, I don't want to say
Oh, yeah,
cooler, but it was a
right.
lot better.
It was, yeah.
When
Oh, yeah.
she's,
Of all of the deaths, that definitely is the one that was more
yes,
graphic.
when she takes the hammer to Randy's head, like
Okay.
that, and you see like the blood spew up, and you
Mhm.
just hear her repeatedly pounding his head in,
Right.
like, yeah, that's some effort.
Yeah.
That's some anger
Yeah.
right there.
Right. Because you can pull a trigger and instantly regret doing it.
Yes.
You don't continuously stab somebody and then be like, "Oh crap, I
Yeah. Like,
didn't mean
oops, I
to."
didn't mean to.
Yeah. Like no, no,
Yeah.
no. There was intent. There was intent. So, but yeah, that's the reading. What do we grade this thing? We got
Um,
school coming up soon. We got to really get back in
yeah,
the
I know.
habit of grading.
This has got like two different. I feel like this is a paper that was started by a parent and finished by a kid.
Uh,
Um,
Well put.
like,
I like that.
like you know, the beginning of it, A+ for me. But then it's like once those plots meet, it's like C because I feel like it all just unraveled.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know, like a B- C+ maybe, just because there really was not
Yeah.
like I didn't love it, but it did have enough of like the intensity, I guess I want to say, like in the beginning to make it not just like a waste of time.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm gonna go with a C minus. And it really was like you said. I'm not gonna just keep repeating. It was really saved by the separate storylines of our
Yeah,
characters. If that movie would have continued on somehow, even if Emma was guilty and Emma was like, keep that, but like you completely abandoned, like you call the movie The Reading, which to me sounds like a seance kind of thing, and then you introduce Sky, who's a psychic. Even if she's a little scammy, she's still got the ability, and
right.
then you just completely abandon using that at all.
Yeah,
Like once Emma made her reveal, it's almost like Sky was a psychic just to make Emma's reveal something that Emma didn't have to reveal.
yeah. Like they should have. I mean, it just like we forgot about the reading. Like
Right.
you should have called it
Yeah.
anything else but like the
Yeah. It's like
imposter,
it
or
really.
like
Yeah.
something.
And it's like Sky was talking to her dead family. Like that
Yeah.
happened in this movie, and nobody cared.
No.
Like it was really like we're gonna bring her over so she could talk. Like why then?
Hmm.
Other than Emma clearly was planning a second book on something.
Yeah, like she was hoping, but again, like then how, like, at this point, I'm thinking she's probably gonna, like, do another home invasion, but it's like, how many home invasions can you have?
Right. Yeah, exactly. The
Because,
same
like,
person in the same house.
yeah, yeah, like, and you just happen to not die
Yeah.
again? Like,
Right.
no.
Yeah. I mean, she did chop her own pinky off
Yeah.
after she killed her family. It had a lot of ingredients that could have been good. Um, and then they left the meat out on the counter too long. They didn't check the expiration date on some of the ingredients. It's like
Yeah.
it could have been something very good, and it just wasn't. Like it,
Yep.
the appetizer was delicious and the main
Hmm.
course was cold. Uh,
It, yeah.
if you couldn't tell, I haven't eaten yet today. So yeah, I'm going to give it a C minus. It had potential. It failed on the potential. I love your analogy of this is something a parent started and a kid finished. Um, Not that we encourage that type of homework to be done.
But
Parents,
we
let your kids
will
do the
know the
whole thing.
difference.
Let your kids do the whole thing. But yeah, that's my grade. Do you got any lessons from this?
If no, part of me wants to be like, if you're gonna scam people, life karma circles around.
Yeah,
So, like, these kids, I mean, they didn't deserve this,
but
but they definitely,
they ran into something they couldn't
yeah,
scam their way.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna go this something along the scam route too about just if you I think it was Mark Twain had said something like if you always tell the truth and you only have one story to remember, um, so it's like regardless of their intentions, I think Sky's where she really wanted to help her mom out,
Hmm.
but the rest of them were just doing it for the money,
Right.
and but yeah, just like she's gonna lie. Basically, they were lying to benefit, and it cost them their lives. And so, um, it's better off just being honest. It's like, you get people that lie on resumes and then land a job and can't do the
Yeah.
job. It's like so. Just take that of just be true to who you are. And if there's
Hmm.
a skill set you want to improve upon, then improve upon that skill set. Don't lie about having a skill you don't have, because it'll end up coming out eventually.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it ended up costing them their lives.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the reading. It, like I said, it. I had a hard time staying awake for a lot of it. There were some scenes that were just like you said, the Emma singing 1 2 Emma's coming for. It's like there were just some of these scenes that were just the cat and mouse felt so long.
It was, I mean,
Like
like, I could have gone over every little detail and we would have still been talking. Like,
yeah,
it's just, yeah, it was just too much of a cat and mouse chase.
right. Once we got them together and the truth was revealed, and then it was just how quickly can Emma kill these characters?
Hmm.
Because there was just a lot of her running around. Like
Yeah.
you'd see her
Yeah.
run by in the background, or she'd come sneaking through a
Yeah.
door, and it's like, but none of that. I didn't care about. I cared about Emma and her family a lot more than I cared about Sky and her friends.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so when Emma started killing Sky and her friends, I didn't really care.
Right. Like, all right, get on with it. Like, go
Yeah,
on.
it's like you're crazy. That sucks. You guys are scam artists. Like I whatever. I didn't really care. And
Yep.
so yeah, and then when the kills weren't even creative. I mean, Emma killed 4 people in this movie. If you include Emma, 5 people were killed on screen after the turn. You got Ashley, Rachel, Greg, the cameraman Randy, and Emma. 3 of them were killed with a gun,
Hmm.
and then one was stabbed and one was bludgeoned, and those were the only
Yeah.
two of the 2 characters that meant the least. Those were the two
Yeah.
that are like, oh, okay. They weren't even creative kills; they were just physical.
Right.
But it was
Like, the only reason she was able to bludgeon his head in is because she shot him first.
right. Yeah,
To
that's
get,
true.
like, just no, like, she didn't chase after him at all. She literally snuck up behind him.
Snuck up behind him through the kitchen, shot him, and then beat him with a hammer.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well, we gave her a shot. I'm glad you
We
hadn't
did.
seen this before, because like I told you pre-show, I'd have felt bad if you were like, "Oh my God, I love this movie," and then I would have watched it and like, ah, because I mean, there's stuff we've watched, that you didn't care for and I did, and that's perfectly
Right.
fine. I always feel bad not liking something that somebody really enjoys. So,
Nope, you're good. Even if I did love this one, I won't be offended.
no, good. I just hope you're like, well, I'm not bringing any movie suggestions anymore. So yeah,
No.
we covered the reading. I think we should probably do Scream 4 next.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. I know we've put Ella off a couple of weeks. She's wanting to watch it, and then I know we did the Omega Man and then the reading before. Um, but like we didn't cover a Scream movie in
In a
July.
while. Yeah.
So we'll do Scream 4 because she was asking about it, and so I'm like, fair enough. We'll get to it for sure, and then of course we'll be back after that with something else. So we don't know what yet. I do like watching movies I haven't seen, but then again, there's so many movies you haven't seen.
I
Um,
know. I
I
know.
have
I've started a list though of ones that I've seen on TikTok that look interesting. So,
Well, I think I showed you. I did get a poster for Father's Day of like 100 must-see horror movies that are like scratch
yes.
off. And so at some point we should probably start crawling into that. Some we could
Yeah.
scratch off already, but but it's like, yeah, there's a lot on there that movies that I know you haven't seen that I'm curious. I'm just curious, really. That's what it boils
Hmm.
down to, is the curiosity of what are you going to think? So, well, Scream 4 for next week. We left you with our grades, we left you with our advice, and now we're going to leave you for the week. So, social media wise, you can find us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we will be back next week with Scream 4. So, for Deducation, I'm Mike,
And I'm Courtney.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.